Get off the sidelines and take control of your financial future at www.tackletrading.com. Get in the game.
$sign ARHI.
Isn't it 3M
No,
HI?
HI 3M.
HI 3M.
HI.
Okay.
High 3M.
Right.
Yeah, and get rid of the negative.
So there we go. So yep. Oh, don't we go minus HR?
No, just
minus
get
the low.
rid of the negative. Let's look at the highs first. Because you see, the S&P was hitting new highs, right? But what it's not showing you when you look at the S&P is the average stock is hitting new highs. But when you look at the archipelago, how many of the 8,000 stocks are really hitting new highs? Just because the S&P 500 is hitting new highs doesn't mean the entire market is. You know, there might be, out of that 500 stocks, Noah, it might be 50 of them are hitting new highs. Like it could be Apple, Microsoft, and a few big ones. And what about the other 450? Are they hitting new highs? You know what I mean? Even though it's the benchmark, is it really weighted fairly? No, it's not. I like to have the archipelago weigh it based on how many stocks are hitting new highs. I don't care if they're small or big. And if you go back to, if you look on your little chart right there, check out at the end of the month, look at like January 26th, where the market was hitting new highs, right? It was pretty good. We had what, 748. So if you only looked at 8,000 charts that day, 748 out of 8,000 were making new highs. Now that's a lot. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. I mean, look at that. That's really high, 748, and then it drops down. So there's still a lot of stocks making new highs out of 8,000 stocks. And notice how that's higher than the rest of the chart. And then when you go down to the right, notice where it drops down to very few hitting new highs. So it's like, I don't know, January. What's that little tiny bar there? Yeah, look how it drops down.
Oh, it's about the same time the market turned 130, so right at the end of the month.
130. So check this out. How many new stocks made highs that day?
Like 15.
Now 15. So what day is that?
That was on the 30th, so you actually had about 26 or 27.
Okay, then the 31st, the very last day, how many made new highs there? So even though the market
30.
might have been pulling back or whatever it was doing, there were still a few stocks. So that the 31st was Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were still some stocks making new highs. Now, 29 out of 8,000 isn't many. But look at the big difference from 748 in a few days all the way down to 29. So on January 31st, we only had about 30, which means, yeah, there wasn't very good buyer. I mean, some of them definitely aren't going higher than their all-time highs. That's out of it. Now all you do, Loa, is look at the AR high 3M, change the high to low up there, and let's check the same date, January 30, 31st. Were their stocks actually making lows? Well, check this out. Going into the last few days of the month there, like from the January 20th to the end, the new lows spiked up on when? February 1st, but they really were kind of high. Where were they on January 31st? Where were the new lows on January 31st?
Oh, we had about 71 or so hitting new lows.
So remember, the new highs were 30. The new lows were 70. Now look before that. The new lows were higher prior to that too. We actually had more new lows being made on a lot of days there than new highs. So to put this together, let's find the net. Now when you put in our indicator, the AR high 3M minus the AR low 3M, it does the net for you. It does like who's winning, the new lows versus new highs, who's winning. So this is one of my first warning indicators. And then it's minus, and you can put any symbol in there and minus, it'll subtract it for you. So here's the new highs minus new lows. There you go. Now go look at January 30th and 31st and the 1st. And what you'll notice is it's not based on market cap. It's based on our stocks making new highs and new lows. Now think about this. A new low means it has to drop all the way from its high that it made in 3 months to the lowest point on its chart in 3 months. That means a lot of stocks were already there when this thing signaled red. So if you zoom in, Noah, from like, I don't know, the beginning of the year to the end, where we are now, look at how that changed. Yeah, right there. Zoom all that. Yeah. Look at the January 30th. January 30th, new lows were winning. January 30th, new lows were already winning. Now, hang on a second. I've got another chart. I got to just change my mind to daily because I'm one step ahead of you on mine just to make sure I get the right date here. Now, January 26th is where on there?
January 26th is right.
That's when the S&P made a new high. January 27th was a down day. January 30th was a down day, and we were just breaking the 10-day moving average. And this was already telling. Now, the S&P was still really high on the chart. It was at the 10-day moving average. And this is already telling me, wait a minute. The S&P is still in the middle of its bullish channel, but there's more stocks making a low. Doesn't that make it kind of weird? So the S&P was not a good indicator to watch. The market's not always a good indicator. That's why we look at internals. Then we had another down day that was below the 10-day moving average on the 31st. And now we have 43. And on the February 1st, we're still above the 20. Where were we at February 1st?
Right in that same ballpark where on February 1st it came down, kind of third day down.
Now check this out. How you read this is kind of like the McClellan oscillator. I used to follow the McClellan oscillator, but it was a little bit slow for me. So what I did is I said, instead of following the advanced decline ratio, I'm going to follow the new highs versus new lows on the archipelago. Because the advanced decline ratio, McClellan, he reads it the same way as this. He needs 2 closes below negative 50 on his advanced decliners of the New York Stock Exchange. I need 2 closes below negative 50 on the archipelago. So on February 1st, that is telling me right there, get rid of your bulls and start looking for bears. And this is when the market was still above the 20-day moving average. Now, if you go and look at the S&P now on February 1st, it was still in pullback mode. It was still in pullback mode. And I hate to do that to you because I know it's hard to go back to Look where it is. Look where it is.
Oh, not a problem. I put the symbols down there in the chat, by the way, for anybody who wants to copy the symbols.
Yeah. Now look where the S&P is right there on February 1st. It's still in pullback mode. It's actually in a buy setup, right?
Yep. And definitely it felt like a buy setup. And I'm just looking at the chart, you would have thought, not knowing what was coming next, that looks kind of like a textbook bullish retracement when you're up there, and that's all you see on the chart right there is that pull back into the moving averages with the buy signal.
So
that you wouldn't think twice about
so
that.
looking at just the market itself is primary. You always do that. But here's the thing. You're only looking at 500 stocks of 8,000. So what happens is this, and I had this explained to me by a big trader. He said what's happening is when you're looking at the archipelago at that indicator, you see when you go out to sell millions of shares, you actually want to get rid of the thinly traded ones first, the ones that don't have a lot of volume, the ones that are still bullish. You want to get rid of those first so you don't, there's enough volume there. You're still going against the bulls. Because if you're selling millions of shares and there's only volumes of, let's say, 500,000, it takes a few days. So why the archipelago high and low turns red before this is it's actually showing you that there's a lot of stocks nobody's watching that are in bear mode. There's a lot of stocks that are not tracked by an index like the S&P, Russell, or Dow that are actually bearish. There's a lot of sectors that are already turning bearish. It's kind of like, let's sell our stocks. If I'm a big institution, let's see how many I can dump before the actual market says sell. Because they still want you to be buying. And so it warns you. Now, when do I go bullish? When I get 2 greens above 50. So this was our first. Now you'll notice back in November we got a warning signal. That's okay. That was a warning, and then it went back to green right after that. But now I'm just waiting. I don't care what the Dow, S&P, whatever. I need to see 2 greens before I even pay attention to the trend of the charts. I need this shakeout or this correction, or this might Now, how do I know this is going to go bearish, Noah? If you start seeing, like right now, we're at negative 36. If it starts going back down to a negative 100 in the next couple of days, I don't care what the market's doing. A lot of times you'll see the market's nice and green and you have an up day, and this will be down red. And you're like, oh, I see the sleight of hand. I see what you're doing. Because I'm taking a read on 8,000 stocks, and it's not basing it on market cap. Apple counts as one, and so does Microsoft. It counts as one.